Good morning, everybody. I'm Vince Duvall with Eagle Homes, powered by EXP.
And I'm Brad Brewer. I'm also with EXP Realty and also with Eagle Homes.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about fall and some of the home ownership tips, tricks, little nuances that we need to knock out prior to winter. We might also throw in a little bit of golf and football now the football season started. But
oh yeah, it's sad and it's exciting.
It is. Pleasantly surprised by some of the teams that won this weekend. My Bears lost. Why is that not? Why is that not surprise?
That was just really embarrassing. Like, I'll be honest. We're gonna start real estate first, and I promise we will. Since you said it, I'm like, okay, I just didn't know. I thought, okay, I think Jordan Love's an okay quarterback, and certainly one game is nothing to judge it by, and I can't hear myself anymore for some reason.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just keep talking.
And but he played a good game.
He did.
And
our defense sucked.
The Bears could just not stop anything.
They couldn't.
It's just
Pee Wee football at its best.
And we'll get into this too. It's almost as hysterical as the Giants Cowboys game.
Oh,
we'll get into it. Let's get to the real estate.
Yeah, real estate stuff. So fall maintenance tips, tricks, things that need to be done to your house, should be done in order to A, prolong the life of something in your house, B, save you from future headaches or hassles, or C, just preparing for what's about to come. And that's that white shitty stuff that falls from the sky called snow.
Hey, some people like that stuff. I agree. It is shitty. Shitty's a good word, but that's okay. So yeah, let's just go down some lists.
Wait, I also want to throw out there that our podcast actually hit Spotify this past week.
Yeah, we'll put a link in here for the recording.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the recording. Our other our other podcasts are starting to get uploaded to there, so there's gonna be more of them on there, but we are on Spotify. The Eagle's Nest.
Yes.
It's underneath.
Eagles is all capital.
Eagles all capital. It's under Vince Duvall if you're looking for the owner of the podcast. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. But fall maintenance tips.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one of the biggest maintenance tips for me for the fall. And we'll start right at the top is clean out the gutters. I really dislike getting up on. I hate heights, so getting up on a ladder and cleaning out the gutters for me is a pain in the butt. But it's so essential, especially as we get a rain/snow mixture. If you just have snow and water building up in there, they freeze, they expand, they get up into your roof line, and just it becomes a hassle down the road.
For someone who's afraid of heights, by the way, and I'm a big fan of this, and we've had this on, I think, 3 of the last 4 of our houses. The only one we did is because we didn't have a lot of trees around the house that would fall in. The gutter guards. Yeah, we've always had the gutter guards. One of them had the totally covered ones that the water went down like between. Yeah, and the other ones we just had like the grates where just nothing large could get in there, which over time you do get dirt build up with those. So you got to get there maybe, I don't know, once every couple of years, maybe take a power wash and just flush them out. Flush them out. But it's way better than digging out that handful of leaves and other whatever dead shit flies into there. So yeah. So anyway, oh, by the way, apparently we have a PG ready now. We're saying shit a lot.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
We'll go back to
PG's fine.
Yeah, PG's good. Next one, let's check the smoke detectors. I bet there's a lot of people out there that probably do not check their smoke detectors twice a year. Ideally, you're checking them. One of the rule of thumbs that we tell people, especially new homeowners, check smoke detectors when you change your clocks. Great little rule of thumb. If you're changing your clocks, check your smoke detectors, put a fresh 9-volt battery in there. The $5 it costs you for 9-volt batteries, for a 2-pack of 9-volt batteries, maybe it's a little more than that now, is really life-saving when it comes to future, a house fire, right?
Absolutely.
So
yeah, definitely a regular thing you should check. Next one would be chimneys, for those who have chimneys who have actual function. You'll probably maybe correct me on this. I don't even know. I know natural fireplaces, you should definitely have those cleaned. What about gas?
Yeah, gas. Okay. You should.
So have those checked and cleaned, because I guess stuff can fall down there and it is heat and smoke rising.
Well, and here's the biggest thing. So if you have a flue for your chimney, birds in the summertime, if there's an opening and you're not using it in the summertime, they will build a nest. If it's not protected and graded at the top, there's a lot of chimneys in older homes that don't have the right protection at the top.
That's true.
Birds will pack a nest in there. You could get a chimney fire. So definitely get them checked out. Then get them cleaned once every couple of years if you're burning natural wood. Huge. I can tell you from experience, I've had two buyers this year that have had to have chimney work done because the previous owners did not get their chimney cleaned, and they had chimney fires that the flue ended up separating. When a flue separates, it's basically two seams, and when that seam cracks apart, that means fire flame can get up in between that flue and catch a house fire.
Now, in the cases I've had that happen with clients as well, and in both cases that we determined it was a fire in the chimney. Luckily, in both those cases, the fire was just in the chimney; it didn't spread anywhere else. But it could happen. So it's definitely something you got to take care of.
Yeah, definitely. It's and once it starts getting a little cooler out, you're going to want to have that fire. So the sooner you get that done, the safer it'll be for you. So just get that chimney inspected. It's typically a couple $100.
Yep.
There's a lot of great places here in I think it's Pratt's Chimney Service right off Highway 50.
They're one in the area. There's several there.
Yeah.
Pratt's is one of them. I can't think of the other one off the top of my head. Pratt sticks out because they're right.
Yeah. So don't hesitate to give any of them a call. And if you don't know any of them, reach out to us. We'll get you some contacts.
Absolutely. Couple other things here. So going right along with the kind of the heating thing is get your furnace, just the regular routine. I'm pretty systematic that every fall. Just have your favorite HVAC person come in, just do an overall check, go ahead and get the filters changed, just so that it's in tip top shape, because all of a sudden there's that day you want to turn that heat on and you're like, oh, that's not
it doesn't
it
work.
Always happens on the weekend after hours. And if you happen on the weekend or after hours, guess what? That's the overtime call. So it just costs you more money. So
Yeah.
go ahead and schedule that during regular business hours with your favorite HVAC person and get that taken care of. Just get the service down.
Yeah. Here's one of my favorites, and I'm BSing when I say one of my favorite: trim trees and bushes. Not gonna lie, my wife is pretty adamant about this. Twice a year we go out and we trim the bushes, trim down our trees, and it is I don't know. It's a pain in the butt. And I told her this year, we're paying someone next year to come out and do it. More just because by the time you we got these bushes that leave these little, I don't know, green leaves everywhere. And it's a bunch of crap. And then you got to vacuum them up. It's a pain. So, but really to kind of clean up the area and make it look nice and prepare for the spring, clean up your trees and trim your bushes early. Because you don't want to be doing it in November when it's starting to get to the mid-30s.
Absolutely not. So, all right, what we got next here? So
He's gonna pause.
No, I'm gonna group a bunch of these together.
Yeah,
I'm gonna skip around. So basically, things that involve water. So bleed out your hot water radiator. If you have radiator heat, bleed out the hot water lines in the house. Get some good cleaned out. Then also for heading into fall and of course winter, you want to make sure if you have outside sprinkler systems, hoses, your spigots that come out of your house, most houses, even older ones, there will be a shutoff valve right inside. Shut those out so you're not getting that back freezing that can occur over the winter time. I know some people put the
little styrofoam
my mother
caps.
wants to do this, the styrofoam caps on the outside. The shutoff valve's perfectly fine, and then just drain it out. Your hoses, of course, and then anything that's water line related. You got to make sure you get the water, because what does of course water do when it freezes and expands, and then you have breakage. So didn't you have that happen 1 year in your sprinkler system?
No,
that was the cause of that.
No, it wasn't. We don't know what the cause was, but we had a couple sprinkler heads that didn't work efficiently.
But that's talk about a costly mistake, especially in your in-ground system.
Oh yeah.
If you forget to leave those lines out,
yeah,
clear the water. So
Yeah.
So there's all the things related to water lines.
When it comes to your yard, let's talk about, we talked about trim trees, bushes. Also look at aerating in the fall. Aerating your soil kind of allows those nutrients to kind of come back to the surface, allows for better water drainage and when the snow's sitting on there. And then fertilize in the fall. Lay a good fertilizer down so that when summer comes, you got nice green grass. You're not getting a lot of that crabgrass coming through or the weeds coming through, but fertilize in the fall. And aerate the soil. And then last cut of the year, you want to cut your grass a little bit lower than you normally would. This is going to allow it to go dormant a lot easier and not die off on you. When it goes dormant, it basically goes to sleep. It's like a bear hibernating for the winter, right? So look at that part of it as well.
Absolutely. So this one was interesting that Vince put on the list, which I don't do because I use it all year round.
I don't
Is
do it
winterize the gas grill.
Yeah.
I know nobody that does that, and I don't do it because literally I will use my grill all year long. If I get I may not use it, it's 10 degrees. If I get even in the 30s in the winter time, I will use my grill. So
Yep.
it's not something I do, but for those that don't maybe use their grill up, it's a good thing. That way it's nice and cleaned up, fresh, ready for your spring.
Yeah. No, I think that's I'm the same way, but I know there's people that are like, oh, it's below 50. I'm not going out to the grill. I'm like, man, you are lazy. Talk about preparing for that first snowfall.
Mhm.
Let's make sure that snowblower is ready. I am guilty as crap of this. I will wait until the first snowfall and I'll be like, oh, is this thing going to start today? I have no idea. So get the snowblower out, start it up, make sure there's fresh, if it's oil-based or electric, if it's an electric one, but make sure it's got fresh oil in it, fresh gas, make sure it runs for you, because nothing's worse than getting that first 8 to 10 inches and you have no way to get it removed and you're out there shoveling and then you're pissed at yourself because you waited too long.
I'm definitely guilty of not doing a good portion of this list, but that is one thing for some reason with the snowblower. Sometime in the fall, all of a sudden it's be like, I better make sure this thing's working.
Yeah.
In fact, and if I it hasn't been serviced in a while, I'll schedule. That's one thing along with the furnace. It's a good time when you're thinking about doing the furnace. Your local like small machine, repair place.
Yep.
They do maintenance as well. So I'll have them, and can't remember the name of it. It's one out on Highway C in Kenosha County. They'll come pick it up for you.
Oh, we should get that information. Sure.
I mean, it's a little more cost for them to come pick it up, but some people just don't have the type of vehicles to get things there.
Right.
And
or the convenience.
I remember when I didn't, and for a few years, I just had a car instead of a truck. They'd come get it, take it, and they'll tell you when you should do it, because they won't even touch stuff like this stuff in the spring. They don't even touch it till fall, but they'll make sure it's good, it's tuned up, it's working good, and help it back to you well before you're probably going to get your first snow.
Yeah. So. Another thing too that a lot of people are very guilty of is, well, twofolds. One, make sure you got a snow shovel. Let's make sure you have a snow shovel. We all, you see Home Depot, Menards, even Target. After that first snowfall, their shovels go from hundreds to zero overnight. Along with salt, salt for the driveway, salt for your sidewalks. Everyone's scrambling when we get that first snowfall or that first ice. They're like, oh, I have no salt. Go out and buy a couple bags. I mean, you can buy them now, throw them in your garage, throw them in a bucket, whatever. Be prepared for that first snowfall.
Just remember, for a lot of those things, for the salt, the shovels, things like that, they work on supply and demand too. So you can probably get better pricing if you stock up a little bit now, saving yourself the time of the winter, just spend a little extra. And then again, their supplies start dropping, so of course prices increase.
Yeah. That's kind of like our housing market.
Gotta love economics.
Funny how that works. And then make a winter driving kit. Like this is especially for you parents out there that have young teenage kids. I've heard stories recently of their teenagers running out of gas, getting a flat tire, not knowing how to change it, breaking down the side of the road. You never want that to happen to your kid, but make sure they're prepared in case they do it, in case it happens in wintertime. Make sure they have a snow scraper, maybe some, LED flashers. So if they do break down the side of the road, they can put that out behind their car. A warm blanket
seems silly, but a lot of times I know I'm not the only one who does this, but when I know I'm just gonna be going from, some sort of inside structure to inside structure, home to office or whatever, or rep store, I won't throw my coat on
Right.
because I've got the vehicle warmed up before I go. I'm only gonna be in each place for maybe 10-15 minutes. So I'm just kind of running back and forth to the car in the cold because I hate wearing coats. It's just one of my things. I know I'm not the only one.
I thought you
So
was gonna say, you know,
throw that extra
skinniest guy.
blanket, throw that extra jacket or coat that you're not using,
Yep.
just in there for those instances when that happens.
And with that, a pair of gloves and a hat.
Yep.
Yeah, because even if you know how to change a tire, it's worse than trying to change a tire without some gloves or a hat because you're out there freezing. All of a sudden your nose is running, eyes are watering. You're like, what the hell am I doing?
So
Call AAA.
So I got the last one, by the way, and I'm gonna go back to the tire change because I had a funny story about that. Last one there on the list, of course, store or cover your patio furniture. You will make your patio, especially the stuff that's got that, it's not really actual wicker, but that wicker style stuff. That stuff will last forever. It's great patio furniture, but just all of it lasts so much longer if you cover it for the winter or just take it inside if you've got the space.
Right.
If you don't have the space, just get some tarps and make sure it's covered.
Yep.
So funny story on the whole changing the tire when it's super cold out. We don't currently, we usually get it when we're going to be doing long travel.
Okay.
Like we might drive out to Arizona this winter again. We've flown the last few years. That's when we'll get AAA. Well, AAA, they'll come, part of your agreement is they'll come change your
Change tire, yeah.
So one year I had my wife's Explorer out and about. I was actually over at our Lake Area Realtors Association office. And I pulled in and there was this kind of this rock sticking out. So I caught it and it punctured the tire. And
He wasn't paying attention, let's be honest.
It's like 10 degrees that day. And there's snow on the ground too. That's which is part of the reason I actually didn't see it, how far it was sticking out.
Bullshit.
And I'm like, well, I could change this myself, but I'm like, it is 10 degrees. I called AAA. And I just remember the guy got there. He was so irritated. He had to change his flat tire. And I'm like, sorry, buddy, if it wasn't you, it was going to be. And that's what AAA is for.
Yeah, right.
I actually apologized when I felt bad. I actually got brought out a cup of coffee. By the way,
We're at Luke Commons.
their coffee, by the way, if you didn't know it, they sell it by the bag, ground, or I think whole bean. Their coffee is delicious.
It is.
I'm enjoying the light roast as I usually do.
Okay. All right.
Little plug there for our boys at Luke Commons.
Luke Commons, that's where we're at. We're in Luke Commons podcast room today, chatting it up with all of you. So, yeah. So fall tips.
Okay.
I think just kind of recap real quick. Clean gutters, check smoke detectors, chimney inspected, heating equipment serviced. Your outside work, trim your trees and bushes,
Clear all those water lines.
aerate the soil,
I never do that, but that's
fertilize in the fall, winterize your sprinkler systems, drain your hoses. That's what you just said, drain your hoses.
drain hoses, anything that has water that flows through it, runs through it, whatever. It's important to clear those out, shut them down, make sure they're completely or as much as possible cleared of water, so that when the freeze occurs, if there's a little bit of expansion,
It's not so bad.
It's not so bad.
And then prep for winter, prep your snow blower, your car, and get some salt and a fresh shovel.
Yep.
So yeah, some quick fall tips. Let's talk a little bit of football. Bradley Brewer. We've already started. We've already started talking about golf and
laugh to stare at your Bears just.
yeah, they crapped the bed. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I took a little abuse, but that's fine, whatever.
So
How'd your Colts do?
Colts lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Jacksonville's a good team this year.
I agree.
My Colts, I wasn't sure what to think of their new rookie quarterback, Nichols, I think it is, Anthony Nichols. From, I'm gonna get this wrong, I think Oklahoma. Wasn't sure. As a Peyton Manning fan, obviously Hall of Fame quarterback for the Colts for many years, Super Bowl champion, all that stuff. Is for those who don't know, his nephew is now a freshman. He's not starting, but he's a freshman.
Not starting yet.
Arch Manning, which is his brother, not his older brother's son. I'm one of those ones that are kind of future thinking with the Colts. Hey, just tank for like 3 years, get the #1 pick for when Arch Manning comes out. Assuming he's the prospect that they think he's going to be, which it looks like he is. He's a freshman. A lot of freshmen don't start. I'm not even sure Peyton started as a freshman. I'd have to look that up. But no, I was from what I heard, the Anthony Nichols did a great job. He looks to be very promising, could end up being a nice long-term quarterback for the Colts. So I think there's just some weaknesses there. Again, it wasn't on TV, and I haven't thrown out the nickel to get the
NFL Network,
NFL Network, no, or whatever
Sunday ticket.
Sunday ticket from YouTube TV. I'm probably gonna get it because I if I don't, I get to see like 2 of my Colts games a year.
Yeah.
So, well, from what I heard and from some of the experts, we got a decent team. Jacksonville's just really good though. I think Jacksonville's probably going to win the division.
Yeah.
If I was to make a guess.
Yeah. I think Jacksonville's, Trevor Lawrence, he proved himself towards the end of last year, put him on a run, got him to the playoffs. I think there's definitely hope there for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
My Bears, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
So let's take this approach. Surprises for you. Maybe things that teams that you're like, oh wow, they're a little better than I expected. Teams are maybe a little worse than you expected.
Well,
I'll let you go first on that one.
I'll throw 2 out there. One, I was surprised by Tampa Bay.
Okay.
I know they've had some off-season maneuvers, things like that. So I was surprised by Tampa Bay. I was also surprised by the Rams. The Rams have a couple wide receivers that are out on injury. They still have who they have, Matthew Stafford and Cam Akers.
They get Cooper Kupp's out for like at least 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Hamstring.
Yeah.
So that's awesome for them.
So saw some, those 2 games kind of surprised me. I thought Miami did a phenomenal job yesterday. They had Tua and Tyreek Hill kind of connecting very well. So I was kind of surprised by that game as well.
And I don't want to judge their defense on the Chargers because the Chargers also have a very good. That was an offensive battle.
Yes,
that was just going back and forth. I don't want to judge because I don't know if the Dolphins have a good defense, and we find out they do. Holy shit! Watch out for that team.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a surprise because I wasn't sure on that offense. The Rams, I thought were surprising based on what they were. One of my other surprises for me was
let's see if we have the same one.
I don't think we are going to. I just lost it. And I'm not sure it's a surprise yet. It was the Browns-Bengals game.
That was my surprise.
So Browns always play the Bengals well, and Browns
They
do
do.
have a very solid defense. But I'll be curious to watch. And by the way, the Bengals have been notoriously slow starters.
Yep.
With Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to throw out that yet. Browns could be a sleeper good team this year.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens.
Depending on Deshaun Watson, I was actually surprised by the score of that game and that they held Joe Burrow's. What was it? 3 points. Cincinnati scored 3 points yesterday.
Yeah, 3 points
with that, and I think that's a high-powered offense. Cincinnati with Jamar Chase and
Burrows.
They
held to 80 yards passing or something like that.
Yeah. Did he get pulled from the game?
No.
I thought I read that they put the backup in.
Unless they did because of
the score.
Out of hand.
Yeah.
For scoring reasons, not for performance. They're not going to do that.
No, right. Not for a guy they just signed for.
You mentioned a game that has something I'm going to watch from the quarterback perspective. I think everybody's kind of written off for the Bucks.
Oh yeah, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's the type of guy that I saw skill when he was in college. I saw some skill when he first got in the league. I think there was a potential maturity level.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy, if he's matured like I think he has, the way he looked yesterday, he was very disciplined. I thought the way he played. That's one of the games I actually watched.
Yeah.
Cool. YouTube TV, by the way, has the split screen now.
Yep.
And then you could decide which one you're listening to.
Yeah.
So my wife and I watched the early game on the split screen, and that was one of them. And I just thought he could be a surprise as far as kind of like that rejuvenated quarterback career. But he obviously did something because he impressed their team enough to start them.
Yeah.
To start him. So
yeah.
So those are some of the football things yesterday. Otherwise, I think we saw what we expected to see.
Oh yeah.
I'm very interested in the Buffalo Jets game tonight. I thought Jets were kind of making some strides last year. And now they have obviously a future Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, great quarterback. They picked up some receivers. They solidified their backfield. Not sure what they're gonna look like on defense though, but
Yeah.
from
I'm
the
sure
most
they
part,
are.
I think they're gonna be an offensive weapon.
I think so, but I think their head coach is a defensive background, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember that, don't quote me on that, so. And then I think, of course, I was actually impressed by the New England Patriots, by the way.
They win yesterday?
No, they lost to the Eagles, and they were at home,
Yeah,
and I'll be honest with you, that game came down to a really awful holding call against the Eagles, or against the Patriots,
okay,
that would have, Patriots were driving, and this put them at least in field goal range, which would have, at worst case, I think at that point, the score would have brought them to within 2. Or if they would have scored a touchdown, taken the lead.
okay,
So I think they were down 5. And it was on the receiver, tight end, I don't know what position he plays, but he was doing this, and then he turned, and the Eagles player, you could see it on the replay, kind of dragged him down, but it looked like he
drug him down.
pulled him down. It
Yeah.
was, if you looked at the video, it was a horribly awful call. And this is one thing I'm gonna go on a little soapbox on the holding calls. I think a lot of times the refs call it when they think they see it. I don't think holding should be called unless you absolutely see it.
I agree.
And I think that was when the refs just saw the going down to the ground and was like, well, that's holding. If you looked at that, if the ref would have just seen that, that's what I'm saying, there's no way. If the ref would have saw that whole transaction, it was the defensive player that caused all that.
Yeah,
So that, and then just the guy, they had a chance to drive and still win, or to win it to the end, and the guy just didn't get the leg down. So there's a couple of really close calls with that. So I think the Patriots are gonna be a good team this year.
yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, it's only week 1. We got
It's either that or
16
the
more
Eagles
weeks.
is taking a step back, which I don't
think that's
they
happening.
didn't look like they did.
Yeah.
So
Want to throw one other plug out there. I just got back to going to Burlington boot camp. I had a class this morning. It was, I don't know what it was, butt and chest, I don't know, back and butts, I don't know. But got paired with the owner, Cody, for a while, and he kicked my ass, which was, it felt great. But they are running a promo right now, $69 for 4 weeks. If anybody's interested in checking it out, let me know. Love to have you there. It's a good exercise. It's a good workout. It's a lot of fun, high intensity, and it's kind of at your pace. So, you can modify, if you haven't been in the gym in 2 years and you need to modify whatever your weight might be, the exercise, they work phenomenally with you. So don't be afraid to get started.
And I'll point this out because It
hasn't gone in 6 months.
It's been like 3. Which I'm notoriously bad about going to organized workouts during golf season.
Yeah, me too.
We'll touch on that quickly before we end today, because it's sadly coming close to an end for the season.
Boo.
But I started stopping going because I was dealing with, I'm thinking I got a little plantar fasciitis issue, and then the left shoulder's got a little, and I get nervous with those types of workouts that I'm gonna aggravate those more. You really gotta get over that, because you just tell them you got an injury or what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And the trainers will specifically, when they're going through the exercises, and they give general like alternatives.
Yep.
They'll give you specific alternatives for you too.
Yep.
Like they'll come around because they'll remember, the trainers are really good about remembering, like, oh, you're dealing with a shoulder issue, you're
Right.
dealing with a foot issue, whatever. Somebody, I know there's a couple people there have some knee issues, and they'll give them alternatives, which is, I think, awesome. So it really is, though it's a class, everybody's doing the same thing, you do go at your own pace.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll be the first to admit, especially when I started there, or now when I start back, I'm not gonna be able to do the same things where I left off.
Oh, no.
So I'm gonna be starting not over, but probably back to some
Real close to over.
real close to over.
But as Brad was saying, I think golf season's coming to a quick end here. We have probably about a month and a half left, maybe 2 months. I think we got till middle of November.
How you doing on your goals?
I am pretty close. I'm about half a stroke off of hitting my handicap. My lost balls goals is down, which was one of my goals. Down to maximum 1 lost ball a round. So I've gone quite a few rounds this year where I've only had no lost balls. And I feel like my putting, I think I wanted 32 putts, and my average for that is definitely coming down now. Part of that has to do with getting greenside and then chipping on to 1 putt, but I'm getting closer to hitting a lot of my goals.
Your Yeah, your putts have definitely come down. You're down to 34.4 average putts.
I was at 36 at the beginning of the season, so
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one of mine too. I started the year at 30, 33 to 34, somewhere in that range. I'm down to 31.2. My goal is to get down to 30.
Okay,
Once I hit that, I'll try and get in the 20s, which is, I think 20s is starting to be in pro range.
that is, that's pretty
I think
good.
that would be that would be a very lofty one, but once you hit a goal, you just
Yeah.
start trying to get better, right?
Try to beat it.
You have another goal, which was shooting the 70s this year. You've come close. Oh my God, I don't know how many times.
I've come close 3 times that I know of. I've shot an 81 and 80. And what was the last one? The last one was an 82,
Yeah, I think so.
where I shit
Yeah.
the bed. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah. On 17.
oh, you know, that one round, the guy was on totally on pace for like a 77, 78,
Yeah.
and just had two really bad final closing holes.
2 bad holes. 2 bad holes.
But that's the way it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay.
It's hard to put a whole 18. Sometimes it's hard to put 18 holes together when you see like this golden pot at the end of the tunnel. You're like, oh, I'm so close, and then you realize, I just shit the bed.
So any other goals that you're,
Then I remember off the top of my head, no.
okay, all right. So for me, handicap, mine was 5. The closest we got down to 6.3, I believe it is.